You want to be a voice actor, but you actually want to get paid for your work. Where the hell are you meant to get paid work from? This is the part that trips up most beginners, because if you Google it, you'll see pay-to-play sites, marketplaces, agencies, royalty share deals. There's a lot of advice out there, and unfortunately more than one person trying to sell you a course instead of help. I've been working part-time as a voice actor for 3 years, and I've tried almost all the paths that I can think of so far. Some of these have worked great for me, some of them were a complete waste of time. So in this video, I'm going to break down where I found paid work, and where hopefully you can too. For some context, I have recorded audiobooks, video essays, documentaries, corporate trainings, and sort of a whole bunch of other stuff ad hoc. It's taken quite a bit of time to get to the point where I am now. And with any luck, I've got a bit more success to come. But it's certainly not been smooth sailing, and I've made my fair share of mistakes. And I'm certain I will continue to do so. I want to share this honest breakdown of what I've done, ranging from free options, low-cost options, and then some high-cost, high-reward options, and just tell you what worked best. So, let's get started. When you're just starting out, you probably aren't sure about spending any more money. You probably accepted that you need a microphone, and you might need a quiet space to record in, but you don't really want to spend anything on anything else at the moment, which is fair enough. You're going to need a place where you can practice, build your confidence, and make some money without needing like a whole polished demo reel yet. More on demo reels another time. For our free options, let's start with Casting Call Club. This is genuinely a wonderful platform. It hosts a variety of projects in a range of clientele. This can be from a small indie producers looking for a single line in an audio drama, ranging all the way to professional full audiobook narration. Literally, there's all forms of jobs on here that you can apply for entirely for free. I do recommend that when you filter, you go specifically to voiceover jobs in the drop-down if that's what you're looking for. They also host a whole bunch of other stuff like editing, animation, and some other gigs. This is definitely worth a look into, and if you do have some spare money, support the platform. I'm not paid by this, I wish, but definitely support these guys, they do a great job. Let me know if you want a guide on how to actually work the site, but it's fairly straightforward to grasp by playing around yourself. Next up, for those of you on Reddit, Reddit communities are a great place. r/record this, r/voice acting, r/ACX. And I'm sure if you look around, you'll find so many more. On here, again, you'll find a variety of different jobs across various production values and needs. And it's amazing for networking and getting exposure to some styles of jobs you might not have considered before. But do take some extra care when it comes to being paid. Usually, the community is really, really good. But as the voiceover world expands, more bad actors are involved. If you're interested in finding out how I help reduce the chance of people not paying me, I could do a video on that as well, just let me know. The final free and beginner-friendly platform I'll mention is ACX. Run by Amazon's Audible service, authors put up auditions that are totally free to apply for. The jobs range in pay from $0, don't recommend those, all the way up to $400 per finished hour plus. Now, obviously, the higher paying the job, the more competition you're going to have, and they're even just rarer to appear full stop. So personally, I suggest applying for any and all of them. Be sure to read the author's notes before recording. If they've been filled in, they sometimes aren't. Usually they'll contain super important information. Maybe they want you to slate your take, maybe they have some direction in mind for the characters. Be sure to read it, give it a go, and apply for them all. Just because you're a beginner doesn't mean you can't land a higher paying gig, it's just a bit harder. ACX is where I actually got my first ever paid job, and the platform withholds all the files from the author until the voiceover artist has actually confirmed payments. So it's really safe to use, it's really easy to manage it all, and it's full of opportunities. I definitely recommend this to anyone. Now, look, these platforms aren't where you're going to make a living as a general rule, but they are fantastic for getting started, getting used to auditioning, and building samples of actual real projects you've done, whilst also being paid for your time doing so. Be sure to watch out for some of the free work disguised as exposure, particularly relevant to the various subreddits. If you're having fun with it, fair enough, you carry on, but I wouldn't grind 40 hours a week on someone's audiobook without being paid. Even with no experience, your time is worth something, so just make sure you get paid where you can. Now, let's talk about freelance marketplaces, because this is where both beginners and pros make a huge bulk of their work, and it's the place where I now make the majority of my money in voice acting. There's a whole bunch of them, so we're only going to go through a couple here, but if you don't like the ones that I mention, I'm sure you can find some more. The first one is, in my opinion, the best, which is Fiverr. Despite the name, it's not been a platform limited to just £5 or $5 gigs for years. Honestly, if it ever was, I never checked. But you create your gig, which is your service that you're offering, so voice acting. You fill in the details of what you'll do, you'll provide some examples of your work, then you wait to get inbound orders. The great thing on these platforms is you set your own rates, the extent of the work that you're going to do per job, and your own delivery dates and times. After a while, you need to meet some certain amounts of criteria to move up a seller level. This can be replying within a certain time frame, making a total amount of money, etc. With each promotion, you get preferential treatment when people are searching for voice actors, along with a bunch of other perks. It's completely free to sign up and start getting jobs, but do be aware that Fiverr does take a pretty large chunk of both your profit and charges all of your clients as well per order. Now, keep in mind, 80% of something is worth way more than 100% of nothing. And you are also competing with professionals and people that have been on the platform for years and years and years. So you might have to be a bit flexible with some of your prices just to get started. Like everything, it's a slow burn, so just make sure that every gig you do as good a job as you can. Get yourself some good reviews and you'll start making some really good money in no time. As I said, most of my voiceover income comes through Fiverr now, and it really has been a godsend in creating relationships with clients. The next platform I'm going to discuss is Upwork. Disclaimer, I don't use Upwork myself. I wasn't getting any traction with it, but so many other voice actors in the industry say it's good that it's definitely worth mentioning to you. This is an audition style platform where you get a certain amount of free credits, I think it's monthly maybe. Then you get clients will put up their jobs, you audition for their job, you create a proposal is what it's called on here, and you need to bid a bunch of credits to go with that as well. If you're lucky, they like your proposal, you get paid and everything's good. Unfortunately, because it's limited by the credits, it's sort of just gated by how many could you afford to buy if you're not landing jobs with all your free ones. Enough people make money on it, it's still worth a crack for yourself if you've not done it before. Personally, I just prefer Fiverr and I stick there. There are loads of other platforms like freelancer.com and People Per Hour, and obviously feel free to just explore and find them. I recommend just focusing on a couple for now though. Get yourself some traction and really explore what that platform can do for you. Going more specific is going to get you more money overall than a wide, shallow net. If you're not familiar with the concept, a pay-to-play site is similar to some of the audition-based sites, except you have to pay for the privilege of being on there. And memberships are not really cheap. The benefit of these platforms is there are some seriously big jobs that appear. This is usually where big clients for huge companies like your McDonald's, your Starbucks, and they'll all have their jobs listed here. As you'd probably guess, it's usually dominated by the pros and some other semi-pros that are really experienced, have really high quality demos, and really know what they're doing. There's a lot of these sites out there, ranging from Voice23, Voices.com, Bodalgo, and a whole bunch of others. My personal favourite is Voices.com at the moment, and that's where I've had the most success. But, now big caveat here, I've made substantially less money through pay-to-play sites than I have through Fiverr. Not only do the pay-to-play sites take their own large cuts, but as it's usually audition-based, you're spending a lot of time trying to source work rather than just sort of have it come to you. Technically, with a lot of these, you can make free profiles, but realistically, they're not going to get the jobs compared to the paid memberships. If you're going to get involved in the P2P sites, I do recommend it, and you should at some point in your VO career, but maybe just stick to one platform and really focus on it specifically. Unless you have several £100s to throw at this, obviously. For now, if you're a total beginner, I'd be hesitant to recommend it, but it's certainly an option that you can explore. So, here's my honest take on that. These platforms are great, and I've had some really fantastic work come from them. That said, can't recommend them if you're brand new. It's crazy competition, big expensive barrier to entry, and you can just make more money somewhere else first. Save this for when you've got good income already being generated, and now you're looking to expand and find some other options. Right, so this one's a bit left field, but all businesses rely on this in some capacity, and VoiceOver is no different. Cold outreach, networking, generally collaborating with people. I know, you want to do VoiceOver, not sales. But I have some news for you. You're already in sales, I'm afraid. Everybody is. If you work for yourself, you are especially in sales. Might as well make the most of it. You can do this as simply as just dropping emails to media companies asking if they need any voice talent. You could call them, you could reach out to people on LinkedIn, attend in-person networking events or online webinars. There's literally an infinite number of ways to do this. You're just limited by both your creativity and your desire to put yourself out there. I've landed gigs just from telling friends that I'm doing voiceover. One of my earliest gigs that I got was doing voiceover for their company sponsoring something. I didn't know they're ever going to need a voiceover artist, but when we caught up, she mentioned that they were putting together an advert and asked if I'd voice it for them. Quick and easy 60 quid, job I wouldn't have had if I didn't mention it to my network. Another way is putting together some samples and reaching out to people on Twitter. Loads and loads of jobs get handed out or shared on Twitter and Blue Sky. It's definitely worth a look in. You need some samples typically to prove you can actually do the work, but you can ask people like indie game devs, YouTubers, or even just some local businesses. Local businesses might put out adverts on Facebook or local radio, but one fun tip here, all these small businesses need their own phone systems. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for marketing, that sort of thing. Someone needs to voice that. That could be you. There's good money to be made there. Look, with all this, you don't need to spam anybody. Just let your circle know what you do and be willing to audition when opportunities arise. So, now you've learned a variety of places to get voiceover work. It can be free, like a platform such as ACX. It can be cheaper, like Fiverr, or quite expensive, like Voices.com. But these are all places I have made good money doing voiceover work, and you can too. There isn't a single magical platform, otherwise, believe you me, I'd be there already. The best approach is just try a few, see where you seem to get some traction, and then keep building. If you want me to make a full video diving into one of these, like how to actually set up a Fiverr profile or how to audition on ACX without wasting your time, drop me a comment. I really do read all the comments and I'll reply to everybody. If you're just starting out in voice acting, check out my last video. I did it on the 5 harsh truths I wish I knew before I began. I'll link it somewhere here. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck in finding your first gig.